Thank you everyone for coming to the Paint with Heart Studios. I'm Cindy Harrison, your artist and host of Paint with Heart. And today we're going to be doing a project called Flowers in the Rain. And before I get started on that, I want to introduce you to my bestie, Melissa Reyes. Here she is.
Hi everybody, I'm Melissa Reyes, Ms. Melez, and I am here today from a vacation destination. So I'm away from my studio, but I'm visiting my son in Marina del Rey, and I just wanted to join so that I can talk to you about the word of the week, which is center. Centered? Center. And Cindy will show you the card from my affirmations word deck. But it is about being centered, and that you can always come back to centered. And there's a stack of rocks there, but that was from Pebble Beach, and a lot of people go there and make those stacks of rocks and balance the rocks. And I guess that's kind of how our life is, about trying to maintain that balance. And it is a fine line because anything can throw it off, and life is really crazy. We don't always know what's going to happen, but it is the fact that you can always come back to that base rock, that thing, that the main thing that's most important to you, and start again and just keep trying to build it up again. So whatever your rock is, like for me, it's my husband, my best friend, and they remind me what's the most important thing in life. And that is what helps me stay centered. So Cindy is going to show us how to do this really cool art process that I'm really looking forward to on a handbag or a tote bag. So why don't you tell us about it, Cindy?
Sure. Thank you. So this is a white tote bag, and I think you can do it. I think you can do it on other tote bags. I would stay with a light color because that will show up the colors better. Let me do this. That will show up the colors better. Okay, so I started with a tote bag. I took some freezer wrap paper. This is what the packaging looks like, Reynolds freezer wrap paper. And I folded it up and ironed it with the shiny side toward my fabric. Obviously you have fabric on both sides, but the side you want to paint on, when you put it down, you want the shiny side up. And if you don't have that, put some cardboard wrapped in saran wrap or something, so that, I wouldn't iron that of course, but something so that it will save the colors from going through to the other side. You want the colors just on one side. Now I went to the dollar store and I picked up some permanent markers that are cheapo permanent markers in colors, but I also have my actual Sharpie brand colors as well. So you can do this in either the black Sharpie, or you can do it in color. Either way works. The black Sharpie actually comes out looking purplish. So you want to plan out your piece to say where you want your flowers. If you want a big flower in the center and 4 littler flowers here, you want to do 4 big flowers with a smaller one between them. That's up to you how you want to do it. I'm going to go and I'm going to do black and white. So I'm going to use my black Sharpie. And I can start by, if I do one big one here, I'm going to start by just making some dots. I'll make 4 dots for now. And maybe I'll put one bigger one right in the middle, right in the center. Then I take my pipette with some rubbing alcohol. You want to make sure you have the fan going so you don't get too intoxicated. And you start pressing that, dropping that right in the center of your flower or your dot. And then as it goes away, it grabs the marker and takes it with it. Can you see that happening? So see how the black turns kind of purple. So next, if you want to do a different type of flower, we can do I'll do a triangular design, and it does bleed a little bit. But for this purpose, it's okay that it does. Dropping it in the center. And how it just poof. So next I'm going to, if you want to do a wavy line, and then another wavy line. Drop it right in the center. If you drop it from the outside, the paint will go in, or the marker will bleed in. That's pretty cool. So that's why it's important to drop it from the center so that it pushes the ink out versus in. And I didn't put them too close, because what happens if you put too much alcohol and it's too close, it'll start cutting into this one and moving this one away. So you don't want to put it too close. Let's see. If I do a starburst, well, just a full star. Let's see what happens. And I will put my dot in the middle there. Take your rubbing alcohol and your pipette and place it right in the center of that big dot you just did. And there's a ripple there, so I'm holding it down so that the alcohol will keep bleeding out. If you can see that. So let's see, what's another kind we can do? You can do what I saw on YouTube someone did. They did put the dots all next to each other. So make sure you get it right in the center. And it really does work better if the freezer wrap is ironed to it, because if it isn't and the fabric bows up away from the backing, the alcohol will settle to the bottom and it won't be in your fabric pulling the color. So although this is neat, I still kind of like that one. I kind of like that one. So say we want to get creative and we want to give ourselves a little bit of a rainbow. I don't want to get too close to my other designs because it will wipe them out. If I put alcohol here, it'll wipe it out. So I don't know how this is going to look, but let's try it and see what happens. I'm doing it in lines down instead of in the center and going out. Cool, huh? A neat way to do tie-dye without doing it. So if you want to do some leaves, I kind of made my leaf shape. You can put a stem up the middle. Again, I'm going to start, this time I'm going to start on the outside so that it pushes the color inside. Makes sense? It's pushing the color in. See it? Rather than out like here, I want it to go in towards the center. If I put it right on the color will bleed away from the line. But as long as I put the color out on the outside rim, it bleeds that way. Even though the alcohol is going in both directions, the color itself is being pulled toward the center of the design. And yeah, it gets a little fuzzy wuzzy, but we're gonna fix that after it dries. Oops. Now this is starting to bleed probably because some alcohol had gotten over there. And sometimes you can manipulate it a little bit by lifting it. So it's starting to get into my flower. And if I put any more on it, it'll push back the black ink that I bled out. It'll push it back in. So you kind of want to stay away from doing that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit it with the blow dryer. But typically I would let this dry overnight. And then in the next day, you can either try going back with your Sharpie black marker to do your outline, or you can use this Identi-Pen. I haven't tried this. I want to try this because I'm thinking that this might not bleed. This still bled, as you saw when we first put it on. But let me hit it with the blow dryer. And alcohol is a funny thing because alcohol might feel dry, but it's probably still damp. So if I take my Identi-Pen, now this is where you start to decide what is the shape of your flower. And like this one here, I can kind of do big flower petals like that. Because that's what it reminds me of, that kind of a flower. This one here can be multiple loops, and you can put a loop for each dot. And then you can go back and do loops within the loop. And over here, this one, I don't know, this one kind of gives me the illusion that I'm going to go in the center and wiggle, wiggle, wiggle center. And then bring that out. And see, the Identi-Pen is not bleeding. So I would definitely go with an Identi-Pen. And we have our rainbow, so we can always go back in and redefine our rainbow. And over here, this one, we can do, I don't know how that inspires me. This one definitely, I still have the zigzaggy, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put the zigzaggy on the outside. And then you can kind of bring towards the center. And then what we'll do here is we'll put a gem. So let's see, what can we do with this one? Maybe we'll do little things. If you watch last week's Paint with Heart piece that I posted, the Dream On, it has Melissa showing us how to do a freestyle mandala. And here we go. We can incorporate her teachings in our flowers. Thank you, Melissa. So we'll just make this a multifaceted.
Oh, you're welcome. Figure out how to use this thing. Yeah, I think flowers are a really great example of nature's mandalas.
It's really cool. It really is.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I'm gonna do little scallops in here, and depending on your pattern, each pattern will just inspire you to do a different shape, I guess, is pretty much the bottom line, right? When you are doing this, each pattern will inspire you to create a different type flower. I think I'm going to go right up through the center too. And then we have our leaf. And you can do center veins, veins off of that. And then you can write inspire. You can write anything you want to make it your own. Now, when we're done, when this is really, really, really dry, I don't feel it's dry right now, but the Identi-Pen worked on it without bleeding, so that there is a plus. But when it really is dry, tomorrow, I have this fabric fusion, Aileen's fabric fusion, a permanent fabric adhesive. And I have multiple shape gems. We've got hearts, we got stars. If you have one of, if you're old enough to remember the bedazzler, you could bedazzle this. But I don't have a bedazzler, but I have a bunch of these anyway. So pick one that is the shape that you want to put inside a flower. Like this oval one, I don't really have anything that constitute an oval, so I probably wouldn't use that. The triangular one, I could always put that there. I have some big rounds, so I could put the big round here and make the lines bigger. And I have more downstairs. I got little rounds. And then why not throw a heart right here?
Why not?
Why not? Or, and then put a star. We can put a star over here on Inspire. So when it's dry, I will glue those on. Huh?
Sparkle and inspire.
Yes, which is what we were known for. Sparkling and inspiring in the early days.
I like that big round one on the bottom left flower. It's perfect for that.
That one, yeah. So what I can do is take my Identi-Pen though and kind of make the lines a little beyond the gem, so it looks more like it belongs there. Inspire stays. So you also want to look around and not repeat things. Like really, I wouldn't have these two on that side together. I would probably want to trade that out for something else. I don't know what, but we'll put this here for right now. You know, trade it out for a different shape or a different color. Let's do that. So that you don't repeat the color gem. So I have blue, yellow, white, pink, red, and purple. So easy peasy, right?
Yep, and they're very symbolic.
It is. And that's what it's all about, ladies. It's pretty straightforward. The
Thank you so much, Cindy, for this wonderful little short and sweet episode and Paint with Heart, where we got to see how you do that alcohol process. And you know, it was really a nice way to do like a little bit of balance, a little juggling, because we're talking about center this week. And sometimes in order to center and balance ourselves and our lives, we have to juggle and switch things around. So that's what we did. And I really appreciate that. So as you can hear, we've got dogs playing in the background and things happening. And it's all part of the fun thing of life. It's always changing and moving around. So I hope that you had a fun time sharing with us, and as much fun as we had learning from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa, and thank you everyone for coming. And remember, if you're here on YouTube, please share, like, subscribe, ring the little notifications, and leave comments, because we'd love to hear from you, and we'd love to see what you've been inspired to create. So until next week, remember to always paint with heart. Thank you, everyone.